I can play the music. Are you tired of being awesome alone? Well, so are we. Tonight is rated R for restarting, rebranding, or retiring. Come on, let's go be awesome together. Oh, it is Be Awesome Together. New night, new time. Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. is when we're doing it. This. And it is a lot more relaxed coming into this. We're not scrambling for dinner and everything else. It is different.
I shipped the husband off tonight, so that helps.
Yeah, it does a little bit. And as I mentioned, we have a topic for tonight's show.
Oh my God.
That I had to work on it before show to get my opening right.
That's true. Did you rehearse?
A little bit. I did a little bit because I kept messing it up. But yeah, tonight's rated R, restarting, rebranding, or retiring your show. We're going to talk about how, what, who, huh, who, what?
Does this mean I can say the F word?
You know what? It kind of does if you're really just having that burning desire.
Yeah. We're on the wrong side. You're supposed to be, you've got, you
do a thing one time.
You got,
and then everybody's like, wait, you got to. Can't we change? Can't we grow as human beings and as a show?
We got enough issues.
So, speaking of issues, we are restructuring the show. We're rebranding. So we're going to pull back the curtains and talk about everything that's going into the show and why we're rebranding and rechanging and this. We're not quite rebranding, but we're changing it up. So here's the warm-up section, right? And in that warm-up section, we're going to talk about how you can get in touch with us, our social, any kind of housekeeping. But speaking of specific in the house, things that need to be kept, it's shelf watch.
I think we should just title this section Shelf Watch.
And it is still it's shelving.
It's gonna shelf for a while. We were supposed to hang a curtain rod and curtains to cover that because I'm starting a synchronous online class tomorrow, but we forgot that last night. And so Shelf Watch continues and is uncovered, and my students are just going to have to see what my real life looks like tomorrow. A little bit, not a ton. It'll be okay. Hopefully.
It's always okay.
Well, it's crazy, but there's no chance of shelf. Maybe this weekend. I'm gonna hope, Charles. Just hope, because he bought really nice boards to make it out of, and we got to get those boards up and in before something happens to them. So.
And hello to Earth Station.
Hi, Earth Station. Boo.
All right.
Okay.
So, let's start this off like you start off your classes. You start whenever I come visit your class. Before you announce me, you start talking about how they have this dude and who's showed up for this and who's on a team. So what kind of team are we building on this thing?
I don't know. I'm frightened. So I would say we have due dates coming up. And my first due date that I want to remind you about is going to be July 8th. And we're going to talk about why July 8th is going to be
why are you jumping into this?
Exciting. Well, you told me that's what I do in class.
It is.
Absolutely. I give them a preview, but let's talk about what we're going to do tonight. And our big question is it time to restart, rebrand, or just frickin' retire?
Yes.
Hi, Valencia. I have no power. Do I have power?
I put it on the screen already.
Did you? I missed it.
It's okay. All right.
Okay.
So how do you, these are very Tyra notes. Although you did use AI, I can see with the little chat. Look, no, don't wet me. Don't wet. There's two different styles. That's all. It's just two different styles. I have a spreadsheet that I copied over for Wise and Nerdy that works for me and Joe. We literally just put in 3-word phrases under the little things that we want to hit, and we hit it. And Tyra's like, nah, we're going to do 2 pages of a Word document here.
It has everything on it, though. I mean,
it does.
I can look over here and tell you that this is June 3rd and that it's rated R, restarting, rebranding, and retiring. I know who's hosting. I know what our main question is.
So I guess we're on to any other. We did want to talk about some things that jazzed up our week this week.
Yes, I'm very jazzed. Noticed my hair is not flying.
Yes, because you don't have a fan. You're sweating hot.
No, because I have new air conditioning. I also have a lot of debt now, so
Yeah.
Mama's
Yeah.
got to work the side hustle.
Those air conditioners are not fun to
We do not want to
replace.
talk about it. Do not want to talk. And my car, I'm getting my car back tomorrow because we got hit in Nashville
Oh yeah, you told me about that. In a parking lot.
in a parking lot. Somebody
At a Cracker Barrel.
No, at a Best Buy.
I just figured, you liked white people food. I don't know.
We know where the spices are in the seasonings. Thank you.
It's not Cracker Barrel.
No, more like Popeyes.
Yeah.
Except
Yeah.
for Popeyes runs out of everything near me, so they are completely not good. Classes started last week, so that was exciting. I'm still adjusting. So, Charles, what's been going on in your world?
Well, I have got some classes myself coming up. I got the school, the EMT school got approved by the state, and now
What?
I have to, yeah. So now I have to apply for my class and then start marketing it. And I don't want to do it. I'll be honest. I don't want to do it. But that's a whole nother conversation. It is something to keep one EMS moving, but I think we're spending a little bit of energy and money in the wrong direction. But it doesn't.
But
hurt
it
to
might
do
bring
it.
attention to one EMS, which I think
Yeah.
is really, if you think about it, it really is a kind of a what we would call pull strategy in marketing. That the course is going to pull people into one EMS
Oh,
and help them see what's important about it.
I understand what you're saying. I thought you
Yeah.
meant like a summertime jump in the pool kind of thing.
PULL.
No, I figured it
But-
out. Just took me a second.
Pool jumping would be fun, but if I jump in a pool, I'll lose my pink hair.
This is true. So that happened this week, and my kids who are homeschooled. They decided to start dragging their butts right towards the end of May, and I thought we were gonna have a big knockdown drag out because it's like there's only so much you can make somebody do. And we try to entice them, try to work with them. There's like, oh, I can see the date. I'll just do. So I bribed my daughter. My son actually came up with his own bribe, and that worked out. But I bribed my daughter, told her I'd take her for a ride on a motorcycle when she had it done. So we went out. Yes, it was Sunday. It was Saturday, Sunday. Was today Tuesday?
Yes, we changed
so I
to
think
Tuesdays. We used to be Wednesdays. but
Yeah,
now we're
I've already
Tuesdays.
lost track of the whole week, though. That's where I'm at.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, but Sunday I took her
That's-
out for like a 30-minute ride, and
Aw.
it's a blast. It was good stuff. So there is that. I mean, that's got. Hopefully, I want people coming in and sharing their happiness of the week. What's getting you jazzed? Sometimes just finding that one thing, even if it's just like, well, I got to watch 30 minutes of my favorite anime. Cool. It's something.
You gotta take the sometimes low hanging fruit wins are great because
Yeah.
they can get you excited and get that dopamine hit. So if you
We're
had
all about
something,
the dope in here. Come on.
dopamine,
That's what I said, right?
not dope.
It did the same thing.
No. Well, sort of, in a way. I'm just going to give you lots of side eye tonight. I'm trying to figure out how to do that while staring at a camera. And anyway, I'll figure that out later.
Yeah.
But if y'all have had any great wins this week or even little wins, we'll take any kind of win. I know the biggest win in entertainment.
Yeah, Saturday Night Live did its season finale. It was the most watched ever. The face.
My girl has her music back. Taylor
Yeah.
Swift, $360 million. And she owns everything she's ever done.
Look at this. Earth Station Boo. We hit 1 year for the podcast.
Oh my gosh. That is
That's very
awesome.
cool.
So
Like-
I feel like I should be Mike Faber now and say that most podcasts don't last past 10 episodes. So yay, team.
That's true. That is a fact. Oddly enough, even though they hit 1 year, they only did 9 episodes in that year. So they still have a little ways to go. But that's what we're talking about tonight.
Oh yeah. We got so much to talk about, people. We are slightly
So-
frightened.
All right, we've done our 5 minutes of warm up, and that's what I'm trying to keep myself.
Do you have a timer?
No, actually, it was probably more than 5 minutes because it's 8:39 right now. It's recording.
Well, you know.
But
Shelf watch takes a while.
here's the thing. So with Be Awesome Together, it has kind of evolved and been duct taped and kind of shaped and not shaped and moved. And Tyra and I have been talking for the last, I don't know, couple weeks, couple months about where we want it to go and where it came from. And so tonight is the first rip out of the gate, and it is very much we're going to talk about our 3 words. And yes, favorite, yeah. He's
Earth Station Booth said, laugh out loud. Well, since he is my executive producer, trust me, I've heard that a few times. Shout out to Mike. Love you, man.
But we're gonna share where we're going. But in the format of doing this, we want to show people, we want to educate people, we want to give the how-tos on what to do. And so we're always going to be transparent about what we're doing. So we're going to work through us. It's a restructuring, if you will. It's not, I mean, the brand.
It's a little rebranding.
It is a little rebranding. And Tyra's gonna kind of walk us through some of this. And I'm gonna keep my ramblings to a minimum. Hopefully that's the goal.
You know what I need? I need a buzzer.
Yes, or a taser even.
I can't tase you. You live like on the other side of Atlanta, but a buzzer.
Yes.
I had sounds one night. I need sounds again. Anyway, I think one thing that you have to do when you're kind of at this moment, because the show has been many things and different things, because when we started out, we were actually 2 different shows. We were Behind the Track that Charles hosted that talked about what was going on with Dragon Con. And then we had a kind of a takeover, be a part of the digital media track where we did panels, guests. I hosted a bunch of them. We had certain shows take over. And after last year's Dragon Con, that really morphed into Be Awesome Together, where Charles and I came together and we stopped having 2 shows and started having 1 show, still focusing a lot on the digital media track, trying to give updates on what was going on. But as we kept rolling along, we kind of realized that this was more our show in a way, that it had become more about what we were doing. And even though I think that our core heart still has a lot in common with the digital media track, and it's always going to be a part of the show, we really came to this point where, do we need to retire this show, start fresh, rebrand it, or just do a complete, retake? And we decided on rebranding. But Charles, I know you have some ideas about when a show should be retired.
Yeah, it's one of the things, like when you know. And the summary I can give on that, I've done, I don't even remember the number that Phil said a couple of years ago when they were roasting me.
6,000 shows.
Yeah, it was a lot. And the thing is, I found that everything I do is an evolution. It's a work in progress, as was this, right? This started as a perceived need for the con, of people wanting that connection point, and you're trying to build it like an ongoing convention, if you will, with programming and schedules and whatnot. And then ultimately it just took a different form. And I have found that with some of my shows, Bear Crawling Nation being the biggest one, I did 298 episodes.
That's a lot of episodes.
It is, especially when each one is about 3 hours long. And it was a good long show. I had guests and everything. It worked.
Charles was having therapy with himself.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that, absolutely. And but it got to a point where what I wanted to do was so different than what I was doing on that show and how I was doing it. Now, if you ever can go back and find some of the episodes like 250 and above, it had some certain formatting and had other things that you might even see in my work today. But I retired that show because it became time. I just grew out of it. Right. It became time to do it. Success Freaks. We retired that show because my partner and I on the show, we were just going in different directions and pulling, and life was changing. And ultimately, I personally just had to go. It's almost like your favorite band. And when they break up and the guy's like, I just need to go write my own album. I was that way. I'd done a show with somebody for the most part for my entire career, and I needed to figure out what I wanted to do and who I was and all that. So that's how I got to retiring some shows. It's just basically either one way or the other, you're changing so much that it's just not time to, it's time to put it to bed and be happy with it and not change it to where it's not what it was before.
Because I think you can change things when you're staying there's something that connects it. So I had a show called The Geeky Side, which is on pause, and I don't know if it will ever go off pause again. But I did have this moment where I rebranded it because I was going from it being a show that was co-hosted to just being my show with a guest. And I may bring it back one day, but it wasn't a show that I needed to just completely quit with when I originally rebranded it. It was still on point, on theme. Everything that show was about, which was talking about getting geeky about things, still happened with the new format, with just me as a host and with a guest. So it made sense just to rebrand instead of retire.
Yes. Sometimes you just change up hosts or co-hosts. Okay, so bear crawling started off as it was bear crawling, and then it took different forms at different times, and every year or two I'd reshape it. But I kept the numbering, so I didn't start from 0 each time. But then I changed it when I really had a major change. It's almost like a software coming out and putting out 2.0. Or a game, right? You're playing a game so much, you get so much downloadable content, but then there's this whole full next game that's ready. And that's when I changed it to Bear Crawling Nation at that point, and changed up the formatting and really enjoyed it. But it just became a point in time to do something different, because you're also doing Geek Meets Social.
I do, and so Geek Meets Social is staying the same. I've got an episode that I'm ready to ship to Charles, so I'm kind of excited about that. He's my editor because I suck. And I mean, with Tyra's World, it's chop the end, chop the beginning, and just let it go. So yeah, Tyra doesn't edit, and that's to drive Scott more crazy. And I know he's not listening tonight because he's at the Metallica concert with my husband. But so that's getting ready to be launched, and the ability to just say, hey, I'm keeping this it's the same show. I'm just finally, bringing it back. And then sometimes you just want to completely just restart, just get a fresh property that's nothing connected to it. I think if I was to do that, I would do a podcast called Cider Bites. Years ago, I used to have a blog called Cider Bites where I reviewed cider. So if you want to see me review cider, let me know, and I'll start reviewing cider. Where are you seeing them?
So our station booze is going to see Metallica.
Awesome.
Here, I'm a little bougie when it comes to Metallica at this point. I've seen them, I think, 10 times now, and throughout life, of course, as my life's gotten better, every time it's gotten better. I've upped my game. I got floor tickets instead of nosebleed tickets, so on and so forth. The last time we went, my wife got it for my birthday, and we had box seats, which includes food and beer, and their wider seats is comfortable.
I think
Great
you were
seat.
up near Shane.
He was actually I said just circle. He was across the way from me, but I basically figured out where he was from talking to you. But anyway, he was at that same concert. Yes. And I was like, well, I turned to my wife. I'm all about experience, and why I love Metallica's music. I've heard it. I've experienced it. So I guess my next thing is if I go see Metallica again, I want to be like backstage hanging out with them. I want to be at sound. I want them talking to me or something, right? Something different. So it's good to have goals. It is good to look. We're talking about rebranding and restarting and retiring. I did a bear crawling originally, had Hugh on, Hugh Morrison. A lot of people have come to DragonCon, has met him. He's been a long time friend of mine. And he's really kind of been with me since the beginning as a fan and as a supporter. And he's been on a few shows to help me out and this and that and other. And we were co-hosts at one point. And there's a very infamous, he got fired on the air episode that we did. And that's a whole nother, we need to talk, we need to mark a topic. Hey, if you have something we say, you want us to go deeper, you need to let us know. You need to email it, start. Hey, we have an email. What's the email
for that one?
What's the email?
Charles, now is not an appropriate
I'm
time
sorry.
to ask that question.
I thought you would have it on top of your head. I apologize.
No, my brain is not that good.
I think it's beawesometogether@gmail.com.
I don't. Yes, beawesometogether@gmail.com.
There you
Kaz,
go.
please let me know if that's right. Thanks.
But yeah, let us know in chat, email us, get into Discord. We're going to be starting our own Discord, but get into the DragonCon Discord right now and just tag Tyra and I. But yeah, fired him on air, and then the next week showed up on his show, and it was what was right, because you have to know where you want to go. And I always wanted to be where I am today and more. I always wanted. I said, man, I want to be on stage. I want to be touring. I want to do this thing for a living. And Hugh was always like, whoa, man, don't put the cart before the horse, dude. Let's just record a show and have fun. It totally two different vibes, two different paths, right? And we're still great friends. And he enjoys hanging out. He loves coming to DragonCon. He doesn't come to hardly any of the digital media panels, and none of mine for sure. He comes to Botched. I know he comes to Botched and like their game show, and that's about it. But my point is,
there was a point.
You got to know when to change. You hold on to your dreams, and that's kind of influences how do you know which R is right for you. Right. So our breakdown, we talked about, we want to hit the whys, the whats, the whens, where, and hows as they are appropriate. So Tyra, why?
You just stalled, so I'm just going to talk, Charles.
I tossed it. Woohoo! Catch.
I did catch the baby. So we're going to talk mostly about what we decided to do, which was really kind of a rebranding in a way and a restructuring of how we're doing things. So we're going to be moving away from being connected to the digital media tracks channels. We're going to have our own. You're going to be able to have our own Facebook and Instagram, our YouTube channel. So you'll be able to do all that. But the big why are you doing this? What is really the point behind it all? And so we really started to think about what is the vision or mission for Be Awesome Together. And I think after us talking a bunch, we came up with education, inspiration, and connections. So that's really what we think we've built this community on. What we've built our show on is educating people, inspiring people, and connecting with people. So thoughts, Charles, about our why?
Well, one, I want to take a step back. You need to find people in your life that listen and that help you shape. Finding the stories came out of something I wanted to do. And Phil and Tyra had a lot of feedback on helping shape that, even though it's my show solely and everything else. And I say that to say, when we talk about words, Tyra is that person. And here you can kind of lean into, if it's part of branding, I don't know, because she's always asked me, okay, help me out. Let's get a word cloud. She'd start asking me some questions, and I give her some answers, and she comes up with 3 words. And I honestly, we've done it so much, I didn't realize you were doing it over the last couple of weeks, the months. Because then she goes, what are our words? I started thinking about it. She goes, I think our words are education, inspiration, and connection. I'm like, holy cow. She goes, what are your words? I'm like, sexy, rich, and fun. I can't beat education, inspiration, and connection. So I don't, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, you did add something really important, that we still want to be entertaining.
Yeah.
Whatever the way that works out to be.
Yeah. And that was, we talked a lot today about that and bringing that in about, okay, cool. That nails down our goal. It summarizes what we're trying to do with every episode, just really tightly. And I think it really helps me lock on to the why. So when you don't know your why, sometimes when you don't know your what, it's internal and external boundaries, right? And I've been working with a company to sell a medical test that I really believe in, but I've been slow to do it. I haven't been blowing up doors and knocking this thing out because I'm missing a few pieces of what, missing a few little, I have my why down flat, but it's like, I'm very good at visualizing things. That's why I was a good paramedic. I can go from letter A to letter F with no other letters in between. As long as I have my start and begin end, I can figure it out. And that's what we were missing. What I was partly missing in this journey was I thought I was going in one direction, and that didn't work out. And then I started kind of floating, and then Tyra helped lock it down. Cody now came across my feed. Love the spirit of your rebrand. Cool. Thank you. And just like, subscribe, and share your own information with us. So anyway, but when you locked that, when you came up with that, we were talking about what we're trying to do. And of course, it's just like I'm answering now. It was 10-minute answers and not sentences, but Tyra parsed it out. And what does that mean to you? The education, inspiration, and connection? Because you are very, very adamant about connection through all of this.
Well, because our name is Be Awesome
Together.
Together. So together to me talks about connections. Awesome talks about inspiration. And B really to me is about education. Because if you want to be better, do more, have focus, educating yourself on whatever it is that you love is what you should do. So if you want to be a cosplayer who has a 3D printing machine in your next door room, namely my husband, then you need to learn about 3D cosplay printing and what all goes into it. And that's education. So you're trying to be that thing. You're trying to inspire and be awesome and connect with together. So I took a big thing back in 2019 before the pandemic with Disney. I went to the Disney Institute for 5 days and I did this huge workshop about leadership and values and mission branding. And so values to me became something that, and I did this with One EMS as well, is looking at the values and using the values to drive your why. And so for us, at least I felt like education was a huge component of it because both of us in our own ways are educators. We both like inspiring people, I think. And I don't care if you like connecting with others because I do. And I think that's important. I think community and helping people is important. So
I do. And we've had to learn to listen to each other and speak to each other in different languages, like the ones that we hear, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, there's some resistance to me where I just, without going into long diatribe, I just hate doing things for doing things' sake. And there was just certain things that I heard in a way that was like, why are we forcing that? Why are we, but I'm not afraid to ask that to Tyra. I'm not afraid to say that. Let's get, and I mean it. It's not me going, well, why? It's literally going, well, why? It's not that much different, but it's a little different. But why? And I do love connecting with people. I have enjoyed. I loved having Manny Faces on a couple weeks ago.
Oh my gosh, he was awesome.
Chaplain Dale last week, and because I like different conversations and experiences. So part of what you've already seen tonight is we built a format around connection. So the first part is her and I connection with you and each other, and talking about the shelf watch and talking about our lives and why we're here, and we're trying to keep that early enough in the show, tight enough in the show, like you understand. For Tyra and watching her, it's teaching a class. One of the things I grew up in was the church. It's almost like a church service.
We're having a sermon. Let's have a hallelujah.
Chick-fil-A for life. I don't know.
No hate chicken.
Okay, Starbucks for everybody.
Starbucks for life.
Right.
Yes, we'll go for that. Or Rapunzel. Okay.
Rapunzel. Okay. But yeah, there's always a structure to how these things go, and they build up. So like, okay, so the first part of that. Now we're in the second part, and that's where we'll have guests for the specific topic.
Yeah.
And we'll introduce them, we'll talk to them, and we'll go through all this, which I think is a really cool connection. And then at the end, we let the guests go, and we promote them, and then we go into our wrap up. Here's what we found. Here's what we learned. Here's what we talked about. And just you bring it all back together, which brings for me that full circle of connection. Yeah.
Right. And that's our what, is trying to figure out your what when you're doing this is what's your format, what's your brand overall. We don't know if we're going to redo our logo. We might, I don't know. We might tweak it just recently.
We might change it up a little bit. Who knows?
I don't know. I like my hearts, Charles. And you're the one. Too. You're the one who put the hearts in. You gave me the hearts. So, but who knows? Who knows what's on the horizons there? We haven't decided that. So
they look like butts.
We got our format, but we don't necessarily have comments on our branding or relogo. We have talked about who's your target market because I think that's important. And by the way, shout out to Sarah Rose. Hello. Because I can't get the thing to send my message in chat. So there we go. But we talked about who our target market is. And you can have a primary target market and then secondary and third. And so, Charles, do you want to share with them who we think it is?
It is everybody.
It is not. That is not target marketing. That is not correct.
I know. So this is part of the process so you can walk through it too. So we are still questioning, are we going to redo our brand, the brand of our logo? But I think everything's just going to pop into place. It's going to make sense the way we're doing things now. It's just when it fits for us, it fits for everybody, and it's going to be good. So then who's our target market? She asked me this today. I'm like, look, to be honest, It's for me, it is every digital creator from like say age 20 to 65, or really no real end age, because it's male, it's female, it's non-binary, it's all of that. Because I said, I felt like I had to back it up because I've been asked this before, and it's like people are like, "Yeah, you can't say everybody." I can, because I reach everybody, but I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying.
We're not targeting everybody, okay? My sisters do not want to know about this stuff.
I think they'd find us hilarious, and they would learn something.
100%, but they are not going to turn in because of what we're talking about. They're going to turn in
They
because
should
we're
do
funny.
it because they owe you everything.
No, they do not. But digital media creators is a target audience, and we're okay with that.
And to a point, you can still be any kind of creator, because you would have to pull out and transpose some of the knowledge that we're giving, because like a carpenter, with a hammer, everything's a nail. Digital media creators here.
Yeah.
And that's, yes, but it is. And I came with the backup because I like to talk through the process, because I think other people, they look at, I'll speak for myself because I've had this happen. They look at me and go, "Oh my God, how do I become like you?" And Tyra's like, "Really? We're doing that topic?" It's like, yes, because people are asking about you too, Tyra. We'll get to that one. But it's like, but if you hear what I'm saying and the process I go through, I think it helps humanize the process, because we get scared of it. It's a system, it's a thing we don't know. So I'm trying to make it relatable. And when you asked that, I was like, this again. And but I thought about it. It's like, yeah, every creator from like 20 to question mark. And then I backed it up with, when I come to your class and the 23-year-olds or whatever that are there, they're taking notes and they're asking questions that relate to them. And not everybody. Some people are failing the class, and that's okay. But they are involved. Then is another great, shared experiences help you learn together.
Yep.
And we did Chattacon this year, and we did for me, the pivotal panel that you hosted that put me on this hardcore track of, I really want to teach more podcasting. I want to teach more creativity. I want to teach my way of doing this, and in turn, our way. We were there, and there was this gentleman who was in his 60s easily.
Oh,
and he had written a book, and he kind of knew YouTube a little bit. And he was asking very relevant questions, and he had the energy and the mindset to learn. And that's like, well, you can't knock him off the list.
No, and I wouldn't. But being a digital creator, I think it's fine. And that also includes like authors that are trying to create social media content, or somebody who's trying to maybe build a blogger base or wants to be an influencer. All of those are digital media creators, and entrepreneurs fall into that category. That was one that I kind of pointed out. Even just people that are looking for a digital community, I think could be part of that. But yes, I think it's okay to have a broad target audience, but not everybody. The only thing that can have everybody as a target audience are big pens and pencils.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Taylor Swift. Like, no, you got her in again.
No, I'll talk more about Taylor later.
On this show, it's Taylor Swift stuff. On my other show, it's bad dad jokes. Either way, I have landmines all around me.
I know. I just want to say I got a song lyric as a panel at DragonCon.
And I don't even know which one it is.
I know, it's great. So go, Indy. Thanks for telling us that you dropped by and you found us in your feed. That's awesome. And I love you too. So where are we?
We are on the focus on level question mark.
Oh, so like for us, we're not going to worry about if you're starting out in digital or you're a complete expert. We love everybody there. Anthony, oh my gosh. Everyone's backgrounds look incredible. I love him.
Oh, I appreciate you, man, but I think you can make mine way better. So.
He can make mine better, too. There's going to be lights in there. Anthony's going to be back. He doesn't know that, but I can't believe he's popping in just at this moment, because when we were talking about people's experience levels, we actually talked about Anthony.
Yeah.
And when
the lighting show that we did.
And the lighting show where I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
You know, and so we're going to have more of those. So, Anthony, be prepared.
And we're going to, on Patreon at least, I know, and perhaps...
Yes, there's going to be a Patreon, just so we didn't tell him that. And we did now.
Well, I skipped it because it's coming. But the only reason I'm bringing it up now is I know I can put tags or collections on it. So we can tag it collection, beginner, intermediate, expert. Or not even expert, growth.
I like that.
Just beginner, doing it for a while, seasoned veteran.
No,
and growth.
we are never using the word seasoned.
You said you had all the seasonings in your house. Now you can't take it back.
That is so we can
backs.
No. The seasonings are so I can get invited to the barbecue. They are not how you describe a person.
And also along those lines of level, because you're saying is we're not discriminating. We're going to take on beginning all of it.
All the topics. We're going to take on topics where I'm going to sit here again and go,
yeah.
Oh.
Look, I've been in doctor level classes and I've been in your seat. But out of any class, even though it's kind of the deep end, you can pull something.
I did. Look at my lighting.
Yes. You know, I'm
Thanks,
talking
Sam.
to the audience as much. Okay, cool.
Whatever.
And I only want to talk to people or find ways to make it interesting to me. And I say that out loud to tell everybody that's how you should be about your show. If it's the biggest thing I learned from doing studies on radio when I first started doing podcasting was if you are not entertained, if you are not interested, your audience is not interested either. And so I did tell Tyra, I said there's going to be times when she probably wants to have a guest on that I'm like, but I'll always find a way to find something interesting in it. And she'll do the same because no matter what, you can learn from every experience.
Absolutely. I look better now because of Anthony.
Yes. Yeah. It's amazing. He really was talking high level lights. And I think we're both better off for having him on the show. You're going to sneeze all over your microphone.
I'm trying not to. Watermelon. Okay.
Should I? All right. So we're on timelines and relaunching.
So you gotta, when you do this process, you need to have an idea of what your timeline is for relaunching. So for us, we're not taking a break. We're just going to go through this process with you. I know that's exciting. So that's why we're talking about branding tonight. But we do have a timeline, and we've laid out things like, okay, tonight we're announcing the rebrand, and we've had some discussions of responsibility of the team, and Charles created us a Google Drive folder, and it has many things in it. And then I created chaos for him.
Just a little bit. It's okay.
Because Tyra likes a detailed show notes that doesn't fit in a Google spreadsheet.
Now, and we can go again. If you hear something you want us to go deeper on, tag it here in the chat. Go in our Discord, which is Linktree. Right now, it's Linktree/DC Digital Media Track.
We'll have our own in a day.
Yeah, we're going to have our own very soon. You can tag us there, but you can email us. It did get confirmed. BeAwesomeTogether, all spelled out, @gmail.com. And just let us know what you want us to go deeper on, and we'll make it a future topic.
Well, and I think our station boo just said that it was so important to me for the podcast that if my co-host and I weren't having fun, we wouldn't make a fun show.
Yeah.
And I know one show that we're going to do is talking about co-host and collaboration and co-creation and how you manage that at various stages and when you sunset those kind of relationships too. So absolutely.
When partnerships go bad, we'll call it stop, collaborate, get the hell out.
I like that, but we're going to do the happy side of the coin too.
Yeah, absolutely. Timelines. So here's the thing. The 3 R's, right? We are talking about rebranding. You can even say /restructuring, obviously, through this one, because that's what we're going through.
Right.
So we wanted to walk you through the process. But if you're going to retire it, you basically do it on your own timeline. And you rip that Band-Aid when you want to. I did it because I'm chaotic neutral. And just sometimes I like to see the world burn just a little bit. So what I knew at like on Bear Crawling Nation, I knew at like 290, somewhere in there, that I was like, yeah, I'm kind of done. I'm really getting excited about these other projects I'm going to start and build. And I'm just kind of on this one. It's becoming a chore. It's becoming where I don't want to do it. And so I just kind of fought that, tried to debate, tried to make it to 300, had my friend Dan Carlin on the show. And he was one of my earliest big guests. Probably, actually not my earliest. He was the earliest big guest I got. I had some piecemeal guests here and there, but I reached out to Dan Carlin. He does hardcore history and common sense and a number of things. He worked for the LA Times. He's a really cool dude. And it was, a side note, at some point during the late 2000s, somehow he got summoned to the White House to be a part of some council thing and be advising some things. It's really kind of cool. And so he said yes. I just reached out to him. He said yes. So towards the end of the show, I said, hey, I'm wrapping out the show. You were my first guest. I'd like to have you be my last guest. And it worked out where he came on 298. And so I just killed it at 298. And everyone's like, you're not even going to do 300, man?
Like,
it's two shows, man. 2 shows. I was like, nope. And now I'll never do it knowing how much it bugged people. But you do it on your own time. I have a friend of mine who is looking to retire his show. He told me like last year he was looking to retire it. And I think they still have had, whatever reasons they haven't retired that show. So you do have to, we're going to talk about our own timeline on relaunching. Restarting, like Joe and I went from Pokemon Go podcast
Oh my gosh.
to Wise and Nerdy, and that we gave a very short heads up, like, look, at 3 weeks, this is why we're doing it, this is where we're going. And I think it was 3 weeks because that was how much was left in the month. It was just sometimes while numbers and time can be arbitrary, they give a slight sense of satisfaction and balance. So that's that. And now in this one, we're going to take a little bit of time.
We are this month of June.
And then we're going to set up some interviews in July, I believe, to go with the topics.
Yep, absolutely. So July 8th is the official relaunch of the show on its own channels. We may still co-stream on a couple just to make sure people know where we are. But that's where everything's going to be relaunched. We should have social channels up by next week. But you have to think about, how do you transition an audience from one place to another? And I think the thing with going from Pokemon Go to Wise and Nerdy is that was a shift. I mean, that was here we have this podcast that's got a good audience. I mean, it certainly had a great takeoff. And now we're going to do something completely different in a way. I mean, you're still talking about geeky stuff, which Pokemon falls into, but it's leaning more heavily on the fact that you're both dads and that whole experience of being a parent within being a geek. So that to me had to be a little bit more jarring. Like for us, it's more, okay, we're changing some things. We're going to talk to you about some things. I'm going to make Charles have themes. He's going to hate me.
It depends on the theme.
We had a whole conversation about themes today.
Whenever you lock in a holiday, I'll get on my soapbox. But for now, we're going to stick on the Rated R show.
Right. Tonight's Rated R show. Well, I'll tell you what July's about later. But so be prepared. July 8th, we're going to be awesome together, going crazy all over the place. You do have to. So once you figure out kind of like your timeline, you've got to figure out your how. Like, who's doing what if you're working with people? How are you going to do everything if you're working by yourself? That's actually a show that we're going to do in the future, is when you are a solo podcaster and it sucks. But doing things like pre-production meetings, like today, we actually talked on the phone.
Yeah.
Which we don't, I mean, we talk all the time, but we actually had like a really solid hour and 15-minute conversation.
Just about this.
About what we're doing, where we're going. I like to set up processes. For me, that's part of the how, which is what drives Charles slightly crazy, because my processes are a little bit more detailed than his processes.
But I can ride. You ride with me on that. There's been multiple times we've shown up something like, what are we doing? Like, just hang on, sister. And you're like, okay. I can go with the 5 pages of notes that you give me every week.
It's not 5, it's 2. And mostly it's so I don't forget to say stuff. So figure out, like, if you're going to be doing, get yourself a calendar, whether that's a Google spreadsheet or an Excel spreadsheet or an actual Google Calendar. Do that. Figure out if you're going to have templates for your social media, and what are you doing for show notes? Are you going to have a blog someplace that you can put them? What are you doing? Do you need a website? The answer is always yes.
Yes. I know.
Yeah, we've got to take care of that. We haven't taken care of that. That's on. I should put that on the list. Charles, we need to put that on the list. But really figuring out the how, not only of how are you going to get to the start, but how are you going to do the things every week to make it work. And for me, like, one of the things I'm trying to do with Geek Meet Social is figure out the day of the week that I'm most likely to be able to have time to do the things I need to do for that show. For Charles, you have Saturdays.
Typically, yeah.
That's when Charles does a lot of editing is Saturdays. Thursday nights are Wise and Nerdy. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah, my nights are about to get really monopolized. But yeah, my habit has been Saturday mornings for the most part. I get up, get my coffee, and come out to the studio. I just slow roll the production of this and Wise and Nerdy, and maybe some other stuff that I have. I do try to work on different things like social media. I went to try to redo our Patreon for Wise and Nerdy, and I found that they never shifted us over to per month, so I had to get that done first before I mess with everything.
At least you have a Patreon and didn't get blocked like we did.
We started. I don't know what kicked us off. That's weird. So I do need to. You gotta start thinking about it. I'm looking at this page of bullet points of what we need to do.
Yeah.
And we'll get to the how. But I remember. Well, I'll save it for the how. So we said, okay, over June rather, we're gonna get you used to going to a new place. So as fast as I can, on YouTube, it is at Be Awesome Together. It is what it is. So look us up, Be Awesome Together on YouTube. Go ahead and like, subscribe. There's no videos on it yet. I can go pull all of our previous, well, maybe not all, but a lot of our previous videos down from Dragon Con, or not even down, but copy them off and reload them here. And then we're going to start double streaming because you want people to be able to easily swap. So get used to, for the next 4 episodes, somebody to show with, hey, you need to be on YouTube and Facebook of Be Awesome Together. Twitch is not going to change. Twitch is Twitch. It's just a portal. Whereas Facebook will hold this and become its own community with the different people there. YouTube will become its own community with the people there. So we're just going to remind you, go over, and we've got. I don't know if you want to hit on any of the other dates, but we have these dates of what we're shooting for. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, they're things that we need to do before the big day of July 8th, and it's things like creating a file system, writing email templates for before, right before, and after a guest. Having a system to send that guest a social media post so that they don't have to figure that piece of the pie out. They can figure it, we can help them figure that out. So to me, those are things that we're doing. Those are I don't know when that is. I need to do our one sheet for promotion. I need to redo our style guide. If we redo our logo or change our colors, there will be pink. Charles, what is your favorite color?
Money.
Okay.
I'm earth kind of guy. It's the really dark, rich earthen browns, I looked down to see if I was wearing one of my jerseys. I have one of my jerseys that basically has a favorite. It's like a darker burnt orange and a more of an earthen brown bear.
Brown is fine. Orange is not.
Yeah.
I live in a UGA household. I can't do orange. Okay. I'm sorry. I just can't. And I hate it anyway. And I look horrible in it.
Thou shalt not be any red or black then.
I'm fine with that.
I live in a Georgia Tech house.
I'm a Georgia Tech alum.
I know. That's why we like you.
I just have a house divided.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think that's like, if you look at my color palette for my stuff, it's definitely Tyra. And they're all colors that I wear. So when you're branding, make sure you're choosing colors that make you happy.
I have got one of my happiest logos that somebody made for me for Bear Crawling Nation that has a really nice brown in it. I'll send it to you. And
okay.
Then, because I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna take yours and mine, and you're gonna mix it together, and
we're
gonna be awesome together.
We'll have a pink brown bear. I have a bear.
We don't need a bear. I'm not trying to put a bear in. I just give you the colors.
Well, I can't use Tinkerbell.
No, I am not Georgia Tech alum. She is Georgia Tech alum.
I am. No, I'm. Me. I'm a second generation Georgia Tech alum. Thank you very much.
I graduated at American Institute University.
Hey, it doesn't matter. Honestly, I love Georgia Tech, and it's part of my heart because of my dad. But I honestly think that college is awesome. It is not what everybody needs to do, and there are different types of colleges. You don't, you just got to figure out what's right for you. But I do think liberal arts college education is really important because it broadens your perspective and lets you understand and know things that you might not have been in contact with before. But there's my soapbox.
Yeah. And before we transition out, as we're getting down into July, I won't go into all of that there necessarily, but you'll start seeing as we transition over, it's the tell you we're going to tell you, and then tell you we told you kind of method. We're telling you now, blah, blah, blah. We're going to side load it. And then come July, we're just going to make a quick post, or I might do a quick little 1-minute video on YouTube the day of broadcast going, hey, if you're looking for our show, it's over here now, remember? And then you got to cut it off. You just cut it off, and you don't go back. And it's hard for a lot of people to do that. And to what is and what happens. And it's like, well, if people are paying attention, they move. If not, they can find us, and they will find us.
And we're going to figure out, because we know that there's things that still need to happen with the digital media track on Twitch and on those channels, especially as we approach Dragon Con in August. And a matter of fact, Charles, what are you going to do to try to find out what people want to hear about in August?
I guess I'm going to some kind of polar survey in Discord. It's something to gather information to ask people as we're ramping up in August, as we're ramping up to Dragon Con. What do you want to see on this channel? Do you want to see interviews with upcoming people? Do you want to see the tech team again? Do you want to? The volunteers. What do you want to see to get you hyped? Do you want creators to start taking over and talking about their excitement? I'm down for all of that.
Yeah.
So,
and we definitely will have probably the show right before Dragon Con. We'll be at Dragon Con.
Yeah, I'm not even sure
we'll have
what's going on. That's a Tuesday night. Yeah.
No, Tuesday? Oh, that's right. But that's before we go down. Are you going down on Tuesday? We got to talk, people.
We'll figure it out.
We got planning. So while you're figuring out this how, you're also going to be thinking about your where, and that's get that URL.
No, you're skipping the how.
I did. No, I talked about the how. I sort of.
Oh, you sneaky bugger! You sure
did. Yes.
Look at you suddenly getting it in.
I know.
All right, everybody, it's time to pass the plate. It's offering time. We're having church service.
How are we doing?
So come on.
We're doing pretty good. But I talked a little bit about pre-production and show. You did?
You absolutely did. You nailed it.
And then you drove us back to the before.
I did, because I got hung up on seeing the dates and going, well, I guess she's going to talk about the dates next and that next thing. You scrolled and I didn't. That's my fault.
Anthony's going to be there on Wednesday at Dragon Con.
Nice.
By the way, for those of you who may not know, Anthony Vito is one of our wonderful, lovely volunteers who is going to be awesome with everything this year. We've got so many panels. Okay. So you got to think about, yes. Is that appropriate for now?
Remind me to ask something about volunteers at the end.
Okay, I will do that. So, Kaz, put that in the notes, please. So, we got to talk about where. Get your URL. Please, please, please. A lot of shows don't buy their web domain, and I'm really a big proponent of buying it because you have a place for people to go. Okay. Think about your social platforms, what makes sense. So I 100% should have us over on X Twitter. Not going to happen. But we will
use it. I don't care.
I go there for Swift alerts. That's what I do. But we probably will have an account on Blue Sky because there are a lot of podcasters that are over there. We'll definitely be on Instagram and we'll definitely be on Facebook. Age demographics for both of those fit. We might have a newsletter in the future. First, I have to conquer my own newsletter, and then I can conquer our newsletter. But yes,
I just need Bob to do our newsletter, and I will do his editing for him. Something.
Bob Magoo, we need you.
Yeah, Bobby Goo, we need you. That did not come out right.
That did not work.
Bobby Mickey Goo. I don't know. It doesn't always work. That's bloop, bloop, bloop. That's whole TiVo sound of skipping forward.
Oh my gosh, I miss TiVo.
Don't you though? Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Oh my gosh.
So yes, we got to get our website. If she's working on social platforms, newsletter, TikTok, and then that's the thing.
You're TikToking.
Is it's easy to do the one-offs for me. It's hard for me to cut the clips. Like Wise and Nerdy has a great clip channel on YouTube. I need to start pulling it and putting it up on TikTok. But Joe does that by hand. Joe, I love letting. Yeah.
I thought he was doing it with AI.
No, I don't think so. I think he cuts it by the hand. I could be mistaken. We've played with AI, especially for TikTok. But that's the thing with the clips; they're shorter. So there's so many free AI places out there that you can, if you can take a short clip and put it up, that's a lot easier. Every show I do right now seems to be an hour and a half. It's like I don't mind talking for that long, but it's a lot harder to get AI to help you with anything on that. And I may develop a pattern of being able to cut that myself because I'm editing and producing shows for other people right now. So who knows? But right now I don't. So little side tip for everybody. You go to any of them. Opus is the one I've used, but there's a ton of them out there. And you get like an hour free a month. So throw up some clips and get something out of it. And then we'll be putting it out on all the places.
Tara sucks at this. I suck at video.
Hey, and we always leave it open. Right now, you know how much Sarah and I make on doing this? Negative money, because we're buying things.
No, we're getting ready to buy a bunch of stuff.
But if you believe in magic, you can come if you want to help out. So I'm saying, if you're like, oh, I love playing with clips. Oh, I love this. Oh, I happen to blah blah blah. I can help you with the Instagram, whatever. Kaz got roped in, and we need to get more of an official. Yes, she wants to stay on with the work, but she got roped in through DragonCon, and she's been very, very, very helpful.
Oh my gosh!
And pushing
Kaz
there.
keeps us all organized.
And ultimately being transparent and honest, as we build a business, there will be thank yous, which is what we can do to be grateful, and then there will be job offers at some point. Hopefully, that is the goal.
That is the goal, people.
So I'm all for. If you want to pitch in and be a part of what we do, let's be awesome together. Hit us up. We've got beawesometogether@gmail.com is the easiest way to find us.
Now that Charles knows our Gmail.
Yeah, it only took me throwing you under the bus to figure it
out. It's like,
I didn't need to though. So earlier today, I was like, do we even have an email? She's like, yeah, it is. Hold on. It's beawesometogether@gmail. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And that's the only reason I asked you is because Mama had the answer earlier.
I was like, frack, I don't know if that's right. Okay, hang on. I just like to be specific. But next time there'll be a link tree that we can throw up.
Yeah, love link trees so much. Again, here in the chat, there's something you want us to go in deeper, let us know. Email's there. You can tell us in the chat. Any questions you have, we're fully interactive because that's the easiest way to make it an actual discussion, because I guarantee you somebody listening at home is thinking the same thing you are. You're here now live, and you can ask it for them type of deal. So just use your psychic powers to figure out what they're wanting to ask and do it for them. So that's the meat of the show right there. That's the main part. So we're in the wrap out and the final thoughts, the Jerry Springer moment, if you will. You make that face.
I know I make this face at him that those of you who are listening to audio can't see, where I'm like, really, Charles? Really?
But no. It is. I told you that story.
I know you told me that story. For whatever
reason, it's a production level thing. Jerry Springer was a very trash show and probably bad for humanity overall. Lots of bad. But the structure was up front. He would tell you with some craziness what's happening and blah, 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 like, lead you into it. Then they do all the craziness. Then there was always the end of the show where he stood in front of his brick wall and he talked about, God, it was so pissy too. It's just, oh, you should never cheat on your loved ones. That's the Jerry moment. It's like, oh, really pull off the most obvious thing. But the whole point was he was talking about what he got out of the show. So that's where we're at.
So, Charles, what is your final thoughts and reflections?
My final thoughts was to ask you what your final thoughts were.
Yes, but I beat you to it.
You did. I am happy. I'm happy where we're going. Honestly, it seems to be landing because this is the most interactive chat we've had in quite a bit of time here. So all 2,000 of you, slow down. We can only read every other chat, but we appreciate you. We try. We're going to try the best we can to catch all the chat here. I've always been the person who wants to understand the world, wants to understand what's going on, why it's going on, why do you do that? Because if I can understand your why, which is how I teach EMT, is how I teach everything. If you can understand the why, you can figure out the what. That's why in paramedic medicine, I was honestly, I'll toot my own horn. I was a really good paramedic because I understood the why of what happens in the body. And so if I had, like I said earlier, we do use letters. There's A, B, C, and then airway, breathing, circulation. And then we kind of go, okay, you need to get to E and F. There's no real E or no F or whatever, but it's an allegory for going down the assessment. And sometimes in medicine, you get the first part of what's going on with somebody, and you can see a symptom that's, say, 5 letters down, F, G, H, somewhere in there, and you've got to figure out in the middle how to get there. I can do that because I understand the why. You just start asking questions. So I'm very happy that you did not balk at trying to show the process. Because some people are like, that's behind baseball. Let me tell you something. There needs to be more behind baseball. There's no such thing as behind baseball, by the way. You just go to camps and learn the stuff. I don't know what you're talking about. But I want to entertain you and educate you at the same time. And I'm very happy with where we're going. And I'm very much looking forward to the audience interaction in the future as they put in questions or going, hey, I need help with this. And again, there are no levels here. So if you're like, you may have already answered this. If we have answered it in a very good and in-depth way, we'll be able to go, hey, that was talked about on episode, whatever. Yeah, hey, you want to talk about rebranding your show? We actually did that on the Rated R show. Here's the link in our show notes.
And let's guess who's going to be the one telling us that. Her name is Kaz.
Yeah, absolutely. Kaz the librarian. So I'm happy. I'm happy where it's going. I'm happy that we have a target, that we have a strong goal, that we're both doing what we love doing, which is teaching. Because tonight I will go ahead and say, man, you've been on fire. Yeah, the teacher Tyra came out, and also the entertainer Tyra stayed right there with you, because you didn't have students you were looking at in the back of your mind going, oh my God, I'm trying to be happy, but now right now you're 5 things behind, and you're AI cheating on it.
That's true all the time.
So what's your thoughts and wrap up here?
So I love the fact that we've been toying with this idea and kind of going back and forth about what the show was about. And there were things that were just niggling at my brain that I wasn't happy with. And today, when we got down to our why and we talked about education, inspiration, and connection, then I was like, okay, we are actually on the same page. We just didn't know it. And we just kind of had to put words to it. And sometimes putting words to something matters, and writing it down and seeing it and saying it and discussing it can make you realize that, oh, okay, well, the F word, we were actually
Furfenugin.
Sugar plum fairies. We were actually on the right. We were already together. We were just not using the words. And so words are very important. How you say things is very important. And realizing what works, like being flexible. I think that's the other thing that we can take from tonight is be flexible, especially if you're working with somebody. So like we have 2 different documents that are Google Sheets. One that's simple, laid out, show line by line. Charles loves it. It's called the summary sheet. And then there's a more in-depth one with checkoff marks for me and Kaz because we like some processes. So realize what your strong points are and be flexible. So I think that's what I have to do tonight. I don't know. I'll take that. Teacher Tyra. Wow. Okay.
How you do anything, so how you do everything, and you do it well.
Yeah, no, my husband tells me that sometimes. I'm like, I can't help it.
I honestly don't remember what motivational speaker said that, but yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing that I've latched on to very, very much. I like our station move. Surf the chaos. You won't regret the ride.
Oh, yes.
And, she does. I'll give her that. She absolutely does. You would never know. The first panel that Tyra moderated, I didn't know that she was a jumbly mess of shaky bits inside, but because on the outside she was like Queen Tyra and bam and having fun and entertaining, and it was perfect. And afterwards she's like, oh my God, I'm glad that's over, but it was so exciting. And it's like, yeah, and then she's just built off of that, right?
I believe in the fake it till you make it category here. So I hate being on camera. Here I am.
Here you are.
And you know what I start tomorrow? I teach a class on how to be a live streamer.
Yeah.
Sometimes you look and you go, how the heck did I get here? And here I am. So.
And it's honestly, if you wake up, not literally, but if you metaphorically wake up in a place and go, how do I get here?
You were drunk the night before.
Probably, but also it's where you go from there that matters. And you're in.
True.
And transitioning into what I wanted to ask everybody.
Are we asking? What? That's not on my sheet.
Asking. I know, because they didn't get to make it. It was mid-show. Surf the chaos. That's our T-shirt. Surf the chaos. You won't regret the ride. Earth Station Boo, you'll get 1 cent per shirt sold.
There we go. Royalty. I gotta write it down though.
So I'm not. My typing's way over here. I'm not.
It's okay. I'm taking care of it.
That's what Kaz is for. Kaz, get in there and type it, Kaz. All right. So here it is. If you want the ability to really learn in a very good environment, a very loving and nurturing environment that's a little chaotic but exciting, we need 2 volunteers for the digital media track.
That's right.
And I'm going to put out a offer right now to Earth Station Boo. If you want to be a volunteer, talk to me. I reached out to our old friend Hammond, and he's not able to work it out this year. I reached out to somebody personally in my life, and I put a AI powered ad on our Discord.
Did. But what did you do, Charles?
I also said it was helped and powered by AI.
Because we had a conversation about AI usage.
Ethical AI, which we'll have a topic on that as well. Look,
Absolutely.
I got so inspired by some things that I don't even know how many things. I just got my notepad out on my phone and started typing out all these different topics and then send it to her.
And they're in your
got a whole bunch
spreadsheet
in
now.
there too.
They're in your spreadsheet now.
Cool. So yes, I need 2 more volunteers, and I'm telling you, Tyra's never been an official volunteer, but she's been unofficially in that mix, and you've learned a lot. And I dare say everybody's come through has learned a lot, worked to get taught as well. Like I'm learning from Anthony about lights.
Oh my gosh.
And he's learning to have a big personality for me. So it's all good.
How dare you volunteer? Earth Station Boo already volunteers with the urban fantasy track, and the horror track borrows us on occasion.
Seska does not need you.
No, she's not urban fantasy, honey. She's fantasy. They're different. You don't know this, do you? I love you.
I kind of do.
She has fantasy literature.
I don't care. I bet you Seska calls everything YouTube, so I don't want to hear it. All right.
No, she's TikToking.
Yeah, she is. We've been sharing stuff back and forth on TikTok. All right. So share the word. Tell everybody. Come volunteer. It's a free free pass for the week. It's amazing. You get to learn, and you do get to learn in a controlled environment. Like I said, it does get a little chaotic around you, but everything we make is simple, and you always have somebody there to help watch over you.
Right. We won't throw you in the deep end unless we have to.
And that's very, 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 very rare.
No, we're good. I tell you, I will go down as saying this, even if I wasn't a member of our track. It's the best fucking run track.
Yeah, it's such a hard time even doing that. It's hilarious. I love it.
didn't want to say it, but it's true.
It's our show, and you're like, freaking.
Sugar Plum Fairies. I mean,
yeah.
I would like to say that Seska's track is exceedingly well run. I've been a guest on her track. Love her. The writing track is well run. Vanessa's going to be running it for the first time this year. But yeah, and part of that is because we have processes and spreadsheets.
That is true. That is true. There's always a structure to the chaos that I bring. So all right, what is next?
What is next? I don't know. We actually didn't pick our topic for next week yet, so stay tuned.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress, so don't expect us to be planning very much ahead. We'll probably figure out the rest of this month. We actually have already started on July, so we're ahead of ourselves. But we're going to be talking more about this journey into changing up what we're doing. And I have no idea what we're talking about next week. So there we go.
What are we talking about in July?
In July, it's Independence Day. He's not excited at all, people.
We're going to talk about things. I labeled a show forcing themes and patronize I forgot the word now.
It's here. I just made him do it.
Because I have a whole thing about every Valentine's, every show in the world has to do a relationship show. And I'm like, it's so dumb. And then the next verse was like, well, unless you get like the leader of Hallmark to come on or something. Oh my God, I can make everything work as much as I hate it.
So our theme for July is independence. And we got some guests we're thinking about. We're going to talk about going solo when you have to do it yourself. We have a guest that we want for that one. So you can do it with a broken heart, and you can do it all on your own as well. And going solo. We also may be talking about affirmations. How do I do affirmations when I don't believe in them? Some freedom there. But yeah, I think we've got some cool things coming up in July. And then August is going to be all about promoting. How do you promote yourself? And part of the reason why we're doing that is it's right before Dragon Con, and a lot of people will be going to Dragon Con wanting to promote their selves and their creative endeavors. So we're going to be talking about that.
And big thank you, of course, to Kaz, who's putting up with all of our shenanigans.
We love her.
Trying to herd the cats. That's the only time you'll ever hear me relate myself to a cat is I realize I'm very chaotic and hurting me is not the easiest job in the world. And of course, everybody at Digital Media Track, and more importantly, you who are listening and coming out live.
Thank you.
I love you so much.
I do too.
You're my Swifties. No, what is it when you?
They're
no?
Swifties. I'm a Swiftie. It's okay. I have a bracelet that says.
Are they baddie? Are they baddies?
They could be baddies.
Yes. No.
It's almost that. I don't know. Got to think about. We'll be back with you on what our fans will be called.
Yeah.
And as always, thanks to the people who show up every week. Our station, Boo, we love you. We love you, Valencia. You're like our rock. And you can find us.
I am an island.
This is not karaoke. Oh, and to Anthony.
We don't know. It's part of the new brand. We don't know.
Oh, no. Nope. That will be a Sugar Plum Fairies no. So where can they find stuff, Charles? That's your thing.
Right. Please. Well, for the Be Awesome Together, we'll have everything by next week with all the link trees and everything else. For Tyra, it is TyraBurton.com because I don't know why make it difficult. But she also has Linktree/Tyra Burton.
I do, but just go to TyraBurton.com. It has everything.
Then why do you even have a Linktree?
Because I use it on social media.
Oh, because you have like the link in bio.
Yeah, link in bio, dude. Okay.
You can't do, we'll talk about that later. We need to put it on the branding. Because I have a question on the branding show about, can you not just put your website in the bio?
Yes, you can. And there's actually a way to create a link tree that's actually on your website. I say yes to stream karaoke. No way that can go wrong. Yes, that can go very wrong. That was Anthony and his suggestion box that we just closed.
It's supposed to be anonymous. You shouldn't have signed your name, sir. But yeah, and you can find me as Linktree/RGOP42 for Rock Got a Podcasting. And 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything, baby. So that is that. Until next week, Tara, do you have a fun catchphrase you want to try on for size?
Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, catchphrase. I'm not good at catchphrases. Oh, frack. Where did it go? Hang on. What? Surf the chaos. You won't regret
it. Also, I think, are you ready for it? Yes.
Go stream Reputation, everybody.